Hello there. Welcome to the Holub Project. I'm going to introduce to you a new multi-part build series that I will be doing. And it is my 1969 GMC pickup truck. I had bought this a few years ago and drove it. Actually, it's probably been 8 or 9 years ago. Drove it around and decided that it needed to have some work done to it, because it did. So we're going to do a build series on this. Hopefully it's not too painfully long and drawn out. I'm going to try and get it done spring, and we'll see how it goes. We're going to add some nice parts and pieces to it. We're going to do a coilover front end. We might bag the rear end, and then eventually we might bag the front end to match the rear. I'm unsure on that. The frame is sitting right here in front of me, and it has been blasted and painted. We have a frame stiffener kit from Tin Works, and I will go ahead and we'll go through the installation process on that, and we're going to try and take some of the twist out of this frame. See, these frames are not very rigid, and they have quite a bit of flex in them. I will show you here shortly, but as of right now, I've got the steel in primer, and we will put that black in color to match the frame. Like I said, I've had this thing sitting around. The frame has been in storage for a while, and you can tell it's kind of dusty, but we'll get there. So let me put you down here, and I'll show you the amount of flex in this frame, and then we'll get to doing some painting. So let's go ahead and see if I can show you the amount of flex in this frame. If you had a Suburban or something, it wouldn't matter near as much, but since your truck bed is detached from your frame, or detached from the cab of your truck, it's a little different. So looks like we're showing about 15.5 inches here. And I'm going to go ahead and lift up on this corner, and all the other 3 corners will stay stationary, but this side will obviously be the one that lifts. So I mean, there's a good inch at least of flex, and we're gonna go ahead and get these frame cross members painted up, and we'll install them and see if we can't get rid of some of that. I'm going to show you again just from this angle here how much flex is in this frame. That's quite a bit. So we're going to get that a little bit more rigid. Give you a little ASMR action with some spray paint. Just using some Rust-Oleum high performance flat black here. I've already used the Rust-Oleum primer, so let's see how she turns out. Looks like someone needs to go back to spray painting school. Sally's spray painting service. I can't say enough about the quality of these items that I got from Tin Works. The material was beautiful. It wasn't rusty when I got it. The welds were gorgeous. Service was excellent. Really great people to deal with there. Wow, what did I tag that with? Okie dokie. What do you think about that? Those painted up pretty nicely, didn't they? Yeah, sure did. And it's dark out now. That took a little longer than expected. However, this is the Holub Project, and set out to do something. Well, I'm going to do it. And tomorrow, I bring it back around. We'll mock this up in the frame, and we'll see if we can't stiffen that baby up a little bit. Speaking of stiffening things up, remember Bob Dole's commercials? Yeah, anyway. See you back tomorrow. Good morning. Here we are on to the next day. And this morning, everything is dry and painted, and it looks gorgeous for a while. We've got our hardware kit ready to go, and we're going to tackle this Tin Works frame stiffener for the 1963 to 72 Chevy frame. All looks really nice. First order of business will be to remove this crossmember here. It comes with a new crossmember, and also it has adjustable, what you might want to call center of gravity or traction bars. Even though it's not really a traction bar, it is your rear control arm, but the higher or lower you adjust them, you'll be able to increase or decrease traction however it works for you. So let's go ahead and get started. I'll get you set up, and we'll get going. Okay, so for this I'm going to go ahead and use a cutoff wheel and cut these rivets off. There's 3 on each side on the bottom and 2 on each side on the top. And I'm going to use my cutoff wheel, a punch, and a claw hammer. I'm also going to use some PPE because I don't feel like breathing in grinding dust today and or getting anything in my eye. So let's get after it, huh? I'll get these other 3, these top 2, You get the idea. I'll bring you back on when I've been successful here. Okay, here we are. I'm about an hour and a half into this. Aside from the 3 rivets that are in here, you have to take the front and back one out on each side and then use that plate that's under there as leverage to try and pull those rivets out. I ground both top and bottom side, and I'm not gonna lie, this is a chore, and it might be an even bigger chore when it's in the truck. So however, once we get past this, should be pretty simple. I can get some leverage in here. Whew, if you ever want to test to see if you're a young man or an old man, it's a pretty good way to do it. Because right now, I'm feeling pretty old. Here she comes. You want to talk about a lot of beating and grinding, this would be really difficult in the vehicle. I'm not going to lie. Okay, so it feels like all of them are up and removed. I'm going to bring the cross member this way. See if I can't get it out of there. Here she comes. Ooh, baby. I think if I can get that slid this way, she'll pop out of there. Ooh, doggies. All right. There's that center cross member. It's out of there. You can see all the rivets down below. There's 5. 2 up here. Same on this other side. If I was going to tell you that was easy, I'd be a liar. So, things that could have probably gotten that done faster. Cutting torch. Possibly even a air hammer. Me relying on hammers and chisels and grinding discs was kind of foolish, but it's done. And I'm going to go ahead and get those spots cleaned up, free of rust, paint them, put some primer on them, paint them up, and then we'll go back together. I'm not sure if that'll be today though. I'm gassed. All right, so now we've got our touch-up completed. I can't even tell that I was in there messing around once this thing dries down. And then we'll get to installing these things. So we have a nicely labeled bag of parts here. Those are for boxing plates, transmission mount. This is all for the frame stiffener here. It's all good grade 8 software. It's all good grade 8 hardware. And once we get to that point, we'll bring you back. So these are what I'm going to call the primary rails. They fit inside your frame rails. They're marked with a D, and for the passenger a P. Could be also delicious pasta. I'm not 100% sure. But we'll go ahead and we'll get this tossed up in there. These next set of rails here are what I'm going to call the secondary rails. That's the transmission mount. These are your boxing rails. And this is the cross member for the transmission. So let's go ahead and get these things kind of oriented into the places where they need to be and start bolting them in. Alright, let's see what we can do here. I'm going to wing this. So I've got to kind of laid out the way that the D's and the P's together. That's different than the birds and the bees. So, well, it could be different. Let's go ahead and get started here before this conversation gets way out of control here. So, these are the frame stiffener bolts, nuts and washers, as labeled on the box here. And let's see what we can do. Take this, put it up on here. I know this because we're going to go ahead and line up the three bolts that I had such a problem getting those cross members out of. That was a real fun time. And oh no. Oh. Looks like I might have to take 2 more nuts out on the front side here. Right there. Shoot. Okay, here we go. Round 11. Fight! Take our passenger side frame rail stiffener. Stick it in the passenger side. That's right. It goes in the square hole. Just like that. In it goes. Ow. Got a metal shard right in my knee. Wonder what that could have been from. Okay, these two line up back here. The other holes appear to line up fine. And I suppose I could drop a bolt in there so it doesn't crash and make a ton of noise. And I'm more concerned about mocking it up right now anyway. I hear my little dog wondering what I'm doing. Okay, so that's that side. That's in, slips right in there. Let's go ahead and insert this side. There we go. We'll dial him in later. fight today. A little more. There we go. I'm not sure how I care for that exactly, but that's probably one of those things that's going to be optional in the name of frame stiffening. Put one there, and I'll put one here. Okay. So, I might have to take and jog that a little bit. Okay, so let's take a look at that. Those fit really nicely in there. Again, that parking brake cable, I'm going to have to figure out. Parking brake cable bracket, I'm going to have to figure that out a little bit. But yeah, they just bolt in. There's going to be 2 bolts down here that I think I'm going to have to drill. Not that big a deal once you get it all done. I'm going to have to do some touch-up paint here and there. And tomorrow I think will be a new day. Okie dokie, we're back. I'm going to go ahead and button up these side frame rails here. We've got 24 pieces of hardware, all 3/8 bolts with nylon lock washers and a washer for each side. So we'll be placing them here, 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 and here, and then on the underside as well. And always, don't tighten them down tight until you get everything in position. And once you do that, then you can go ahead and snug them down. Since they are nylon washers or nylon lock nuts, there's no need to use any blue Loctite on them if you don't want to. I still may do that as an over precaution. Now that we've got those in, be mindful, the bottom one in the middle on both sides, it's kind of a booger, but those are all in, Loctited, tightened down. Now we'll put the, I'm going to call it the front and rear brackets in, braces, and tighten those down. See how this goes. We're going to go ahead. I don't know if this is marked with a D and a P or not. Doesn't look like it, but I will bet that she fits in there just like so. This end being the top. Same story as before. Nuts, washers, lock nuts, you know the drill. And I'm probably going to kick myself in the teeth for snugging all these down because it felt pretty, how you want to say it, pretty snug right there. betting you we'll have a little bit of touch-up paint action going on. Could turn a jack on its side. Spread those frame rails out just a smidge. And she's all there. Let's see. Let me come up with an idea. You guys might enjoy this, so I'm going to put you on. Get you in on some engineering. Been a while since I had to get my frame machine out. Could almost need another person here. Where's my brother at? That son of a bitch. Probably out drinking beer somewhere. Here I am all by my lonesome working. Ow! So close. Okay. Whew. Good thing I had this frame machine laying around. All right, now we'll just kind of put some bolts in there, get it started so it doesn't fall out of place. Get the other brackets in. I think we'll be okay. Make all different sizes and colors and shapes of thread locker nowadays. Before, it's always red and blue. That's about all you had, and then you got green now for cylinders, purple, you got it in lipstick form. Man, the inventions we come up with. Hell, we even got a, what do you want to call it, in anti-seize in lipstick form now, which is super handy. Don't have to put that on anything, or you don't have to put it on your skin or anything. Walk home from work looking like the Tin Man. Okay, got that. Let me do this other side quick, and I'll bring it back. Okay, got that rear piece put in there. Now, that one is not tightened down yet. What I want to do is I want to get the front ones put in and then bring the shorter ones back, which I called the secondary braces earlier. Those front ones, they might be a little bit of a treat to try and get bolted in there. And again, these are marked with a P and a D. This one being passenger. This one's going to be driver. So something like this. Here I go. Take the old knee right over the top of one of these nuts. So this guy is going to mount just like this right there. So we'll go ahead and put a washer on the bolt. Take this washer, put it on this bolt, set it up there for safekeeping. Take this guy, put it on through here, and then put that up there on my leg. Take this guy, put on the old magnet. Got the dog barking in the background. Okay, got that one. Put a little dab on this guy. This and this. Put iron through there. These back two aren't going to be the funnest though. Dab there, little dab here. Washers to disperse the load across the head. Don't know if I can get this one in like that. Like that. This isn't nearly as bad as I just thought it was going to be. Now, let's do this other one on the bottom. That wasn't near as bad as I thought. Okay, got that one all set. All right, let me do this other side here and I'll bring you back. We're gonna leave all these loose. I'll show you why here in a second. Okay, we're on the home stretch here. We got the two front frame supports in there, boxing areas, and then we're going to run these two secondary plates here. Once we get all those done, we can tighten up the rear, the front two, and these two secondary plates. So let's see what we can do. 3, 12, or 6, 8, 10 fasteners on each one. These top and bottom are going to use the 1/2 inch, and the rest of these are going to use the 3/8. So let's go ahead and get our hardware out. And just like the last time, I'll do this first side and then I'll do the second side off camera. I left everything loose intentionally. Probably end up tapping this in here. Rubber mallet. The the fitment is not sloppy, so that's very nice. Although, I mean, you have to have a mechanical means to kind of straighten this stuff out. So, now there's pluses and minuses to everything, but should be able to do this pretty easily. A little rubber mallet action right through the front hole here. And obviously, when you get your nuts and bolts started, you will use that mechanical advantage, draw that back towards you. So, let's see, should be able to slide that bad boy right on through here. So there's going to be a 1/2 inch one here on the top, like this. One for the bottom. We'll put a little dab of the Loctite on. For each, a nut. And a washer for this guy. Okay, and then we'll knock this one over. Got 2 for back here. I'll use my alignment tool here. And since we hammered that through, we'll never get a thread started on the other side, so that's good. That's what we're aiming for. Let's do our 6 up here. 3 on the top, 3 on the bottom. And then bust this tight here. Bust this tight. That's a new one. I wonder what the profit margin is on this Loctite. I'll tell you what. For $8 for a, what do we got? 0.2 ounces. Probably pretty substantial. Probably pretty substantial. 2, 3. Put a nut on each one on the bottom. We'll go ahead and do the same thing for the bottom 3. Step them up through. 1. Throw a washer on it. Throw a nut on it. It's amazing that I can do it slower when I can actually see what I'm doing. It scares me. There's a lot of things that I do that scare me though, so. Okay, now. Okay, so we've got everything loose on this side. I think we'd be okay to tighten that down now. So let me go ahead and whip this other side together. I'll bring you back when that's done And we are almost on the home stretch here. All right, let's finish tightening up these bolts here. I'm kind of starting in the back, working my way forward, and I'm going to tighten in the two side main brackets and then hit the small ones. Let's get started. Should be able to get that at an angle. So all these are 3/4. The big heads are 3/4 and the small ones are 3/8. So in closing, was all that effort worth it? Was that frame stiffener kit worth the money and the time and labor to put in a frame to stiffen it up? Well, let's find out. I'll put you on the tripod here and we'll do the same lift test that we did before, and we can see if there was any gains, substantially or not so substantially. I will tell you one thing though, it does certainly look nice. I bet you may have gained 50 pounds to the chassis, but in the name of stiffness and 3.5-inch exhaust openings, I bet you it was probably worth it. Let's find out. Got our old trusty tape measure out here, sitting right about that same 16-inch mark, and we'll give it a lift. And there's your answer. Got about 3/8 of an inch of movement, down from about 1 inch to 1.5 inches. So, in closing, I would say that was well worth the money, the rigidity, and the peace of mind knowing that you can run a set of tailpipes out of the back without having to do any funny stuff. Should have some more progress going on this bad boy here soon. I think we're going to tackle some rear suspension next, then some front suspension with the engine crossmember, and we'll take off from that point. But thank you very much for hanging around watching this video. I know it wasn't really an instructional video per se, but if you were to purchase one of these frame stiffener kits, I would think that you would be able to watch the video and monkey your way through it along with me. So, until next time, we'll see you again, and thanks for watching.